Hello everybody, I'm very excited to be doing this video today. I'm going to be talking about and trying Angel by Thierry Mugler. This is the EDP version. This is a fragrance that's been around since 1992. It is very iconic in many ways, both in terms of the actual scent itself and even the bottle design. They've got a lot going on with this. I'm going to be talking a little bit more about this in a little while, but the bottles are very easily refillable. They have some kind of cool refilling stations at certain retailers that I'm going to be talking about. But the smell itself is very distinctive. There have been multiple times where my wife, who is very much a real person, this is her bottle, where she has been out, like we've been out and about, and somebody has smelled it. And it could have been years since they smelled Angel, but like one time a waiter was like, "Is that Angel? My aunt used to wear Angel." Or a friend of hers was like, "Are you wearing Angel? I used to work at a department store and I loved Angel when I worked there." And this is like years or decades later. So it's a very distinctive, iconic smell. So I'm going to finish applying this and we'll actually get to talk about the smell a little bit. So stay tuned. All right, so I finished applying Angel and let's see how it's doing. Right off the bat is a very intense smell, and that is not necessarily saying that's a bad thing. It will mellow out as it dries down, but it's just very like strong. And a lot of the things that are coming through at this point are very like citrus and fruity smells, but also very sweet, and not sweet like fruit, but sweet like a confectionery almost. One of the top notes for this is cotton candy, and I definitely feel like that's coming through. I'm not generally like a big sweet fragrance person, and this is like a women's fragrance, so it's not one that I typically wear. But at the same time, life is short. If you like the way that something smells and you like the way it makes you smell, I don't care if it says it's for men or women, wear what you want to wear. But that being said, it is a, once again, very distinctive smell that I'm interested to see how it dries down, where I'm really kind of paying more attention to some of those notes. Because right now it's very much citrusy, fruity, and like confectionery sweet. But we will come back in about an hour and see how it's doing. So looking forward to it. All right, so it's been about an hour and a half since I applied Angel, and let's see how it's doing. A lot of those top notes, like the citrus and the fruit and those real confectionery sweet smells, have faded away at this point. Not completely, but they're just much more mild than they were when it was initially applied. And they've been replaced by some really herbal, kind of spicy smells. So like leafy things, like herbs and spices are kind of now the predominant smells that are coming through, underlaid by some more rich smells like some amber, I believe, and some stuff like that. Like some, I think it even says it has like chocolate and caramel as like some base notes. So some of those really kind of like deeper, rich fragrances are kind of becoming a little bit more noticeable once those top notes have faded away. My wife, who is a completely real person, she rated the strength of it at this point as an 8 out of 10 stars, but her preference of it, instead of stars, it is on the Mikey rating system, and she said it is 10 out of 10 Mikeys. So that has definitely got her stamp of approval. While I got you here, there's actually something else I wanted to kind of show. I mentioned that the bottle design, they really kind of emphasize being able to refill these bottles. So the top right here actually just boop, pops up, and then you got the spout nozzle thing right here. And I'm trying to do it one-handed, so let's see if I can do it. There we go. All right. And then this actually just like unscrews, and then you can take this out, and bam, you just have like this opening of the bottle right there. So this is really good for multiple reasons, one of which being that you can easily refill it. They actually encourage you to refill it. They have these like refilling stations. I was at Belk one day, and I saw one of these and I was like, that looks really cool. I don't know how much it is or if that's like the best way to do it as far as price is concerned, but I did think that it looked really cool. Additionally, this makes it really easy if you want to decant this into like a smaller travel size bottle, then you don't have to do anything real crazy. You could honestly probably even just pour it out instead of having to use any special tools or anything like that. So I think that is a really cool design. I think that the fragrance at this point is still smelling fantastic, very distinctive, very memorable. And we will check back in at about the 5 to 7 hour mark and see how it's doing then. Hello again. So it has now been about actually almost 8 hours since I first applied Angel. It was a little bit longer than I had anticipated, but that being said, let's see how it's doing. The strength of it is still very impressive at this point. Considering it's been like 8 hours, I asked my wife, who is very much a real person, what she thought of both the like fragrance at this point in terms of smell and also in terms of longevity. She rated it a 5 out of 10 for longevity, which I think is pretty impressive given how long it's been, and then still a 10 out of 10 Mikeys for smell. It is one of her favorites, so that was something I knew going into this, so that's not really too surprising. My impressions of it are very positive. I really like what's going on because we're really at the like deep base notes of it now, to where a lot of things have like a really just like, you know, moss or musk or woody kind of base layer, which this does have. But in addition to the actual like woody elements, then there is also like some sweetness to it and also a little bit still of that herbal quality. I think it's like the patchouli leaf that is kind of like both woody and herbal. And then there's also like some base layers of caramel and chocolate, which create still, it's following through on that kind of gourmand style of fragrance to where it is very kind of like food forward, where it's, you know, it smells really good. It smells appetizing. Is probably the best way to do it or to describe it. So big fan of it so far. And if this sounds like something you might be interested in, then let's talk about where you can buy it. All right, so as always, Costco and or Sam's Club are always my first stops. And in this case, Costco does not sell it. They typically don't sell as much stuff, but when they do sell something, they tend to have a little bit better price. So they don't have this, but Sam's Club does. And they have that bottle that I showed in the video earlier for $89.98, which is a pretty good price. I think that's better than I paid for it when I bought it, but it was, I didn't get from Sam's Club. I don't really remember where I got it from. But yeah, so that's a pretty good deal. All right, from Thierry Mugler, they have that same bottle, 100 milliliter, for $195, which is definitely a lot more than Sam's Club. But you know, that is an option if you want like the freshest product, because like sometimes Sam's Club or something, they might have like old stock or something like that. But that's also not necessarily a bad thing. But what I do think is interesting is that Thierry Mugler also has a 100 milliliter refill bottle for $165. I think they also have like those typical, oh, do you want to save 35% or whatever on your first order, or some percentage where you probably sign up for an email list. They have something like that. I think that the refill is cool because say that you do have like a special bottle, like maybe the first one that you ever got, it was an engraved one that was a gift from somebody that's meaningful to you, and you might not want to buy a completely new bottle because the bottle itself is special, then the like a refill bottle for it could be enticing to you. But that being said, I think that we have some better options for where we can maybe get one of these refill bottles. I don't usually even mention this particular place in my videos, but this is from Walmart. On their website, they have it for like $55. It's from a third-party seller, and that's why I don't really talk about Walmart much. And if I do, it's usually because it's like one that's available in store and it's not like a third-party seller. That's also why I don't recommend Amazon in any of my videos, is I just feel like that it introduces way too many opportunities for like counterfeit products to make it into the mix. So this one, like I said, it's about like $55. It says it's the same bottle, but I don't think you can see it in the screenshot, but it's from a third-party seller like Parfum USA or something like that. So, you know, if you're feeling risky, maybe go for that. But if you have bought from these places, like these third-party sellers, these marketplaces like Amazon, Walmart, let me know about what your experience was. I'm curious to hear how many people have actually had problems with it. Joma Shop, another one that I mention pretty regularly, has that same bottle. They have the 100 milliliter tester version of it for about $65, or a non-tester 100 milliliter for about $85. Factoring into the $5.99 shipping, I think I'd probably rather get it from Sam's Club than Joma Shop for that particular size. But if you don't have a Sam's Club membership, then maybe that would be a good one for you. But I actually have one more place that I haven't done in one of my videos before, but I was looking at earlier, and they have a pretty good option available. This last place is not one I've actually bought from before, but I've heard a lot of really good things about. It's Fragrance Net, and they have that refill bottle, the 100 milliliter. Like it doesn't have an atomizer or whatever, it's just strictly for refilling other bottles. They have that for about $87. And they also have free shipping on orders over like $50 or $60. So this would be eligible for free shipping just based on that criteria. So that is probably a good place if you do want a refill. But if you don't already have a bottle, or you don't have like a special one that you're trying to preserve, then maybe Sam's Club would be a good option, or even Joma Shop. They're all kind of like similarly priced. Just kind of depends on what you might want as far as the bottle that you're going to be dispensing it from. So all of those would be good options. If you end up ordering it from Walmart at any point, let me know how your experience is, or if you have in the past, or any other third-party seller like Amazon or something like that. I'm curious about people's experiences with that. But I hope you liked this video. If you did, please like, subscribe. It makes me feel good. I like getting comments from people. I've had really good conversations with people in the comment section of my videos. And thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day.